So the reason why this William Scull situation has been pretty much serious the whole time, Canelo Alvarez was contacted by William Scull. William Scull manager actually reached out to Canelo Alvarez. I want to say after his victory over Vladimir Shishkin. A lot of people was contacting Shishkin before the fight between William Scull and Shishkin. They thought Shishkin was gonna win. So I know Berlanga was already in contacts, a couple of other guys at 168. And I said, man, what if William Scull comes out and win, and then he actually does win? Then that's when a lot of other guys start contacting him. Berlanga contacting William Scull, his people, his team, whatever. They contacted William Scull, Mbilli, Top Rank. I guess they was inquiring about Mbilli and Munguia. And William Scull, in his mind, he looked like the Munguia fight was gonna be possible. As far as which fight was gonna be more possible out of all three, he was thinking more so the Munguia. But then his manager ended up contacting Canelo. Now, for some reason, people make it seem like, oh, well, Canelo and Tank and all these other guys, they can't be contacted for a fight. You can't call those guys asking about a fight. Well, it must be a new age in boxing now, because William Scull contacted Canelo, and I guess whatever he heard in those talks, he feels very confident about where he's at in the sport. He's not in a rush to fight Berlanga. He's not in a rush to fight Munguia and Mbilli. He feels like he's done his job after that Shishkin fight, and he's just going to possibly sit on his hands until this Canelo situation falls in his lap. But his manager is the one that contacted Canelo. Canelo didn't outright just go out and say, well, I want Scull, you know what I'm saying? But he also didn't turn the fight away like he's done other people like Berlanga, like Benavidez and Crawford recently. Morrell, a lot of names we could bring up. Jamal Charlo. And that was before recently. I'm talking about over the years. Andre over the years. So for William Scull to be able to be contacted, people say, well, William Scull's a champion. Well, Andre was a champion when Canelo was in the division, and he didn't want to make the fight. So don't make it seem like because William Scull is a champion that's the reason why he's being suggested or anything like that. He hasn't done anything in the sport of boxing up until this point to where you feel like he's more qualified than Benavidez. I don't care how many belts he has. Belts don't really dictate how I feel about boxing. If that's the way I'm supposed to think about boxing, well, it's a lot of guys who consider the best who's not really on paper, because it don't really say it, but if you really watch their fights, you'll know what time it is. Pacquiao, a lot of other guys. So you know when a fighter's up to a certain level. Look where William Scull's looking at. Look at where he's throwing his punch. Shishkin's like literally ducking, looking up at him. And Scull's like still looking forward. This is just bad technique. That's why I put this picture up there. This is not a guy I want to go out there. Canelo will knock this guy out, man. Canelo will do one of those and throw a hard uppercut and get him up out of there. I mean, if he wants to go in there and get a Canelo payday, absolutely. I mean, go ahead and do it. I'm not going to hate on that. But I would just tell him, you could go about this another way and possibly get more money. You could turn this into a turkey out of sheik situation. Especially with the belt, you just did a mandatory fight, right? So, okay. I mean, you possibly going to have some time. But, nah, this ain't it right here. This is definitely not it right here. I definitely don't like the situation about this. I definitely don't. Because once I look at this and I see this dude is contacting, it's like it's certain fighters that can get in contact with Canelo, and there's certain guys that can't. William Scull is one of them. And I just look at the situation, I'm like, how and why? But he's earned his opportunity, though. He's not a guy who's has a fault to be in this position. I'm not going to say that. But at the same time, if we're talking about qualifications and guys who've been ex-champions or champions and lost belts, you got guys that got opportunities to fight for belts they lost already and everything else. It's crazy. Benavidez ain't never get that chance to fight for a belt that was lost in a certain situation. But these other fighters, from Joshua to Canelo, they can just get a belt vacated or lose it or whatever and jump back up and say, you know what, you got another opportunity to fight for a belt. So yeah, man, this IBF stuff is getting weird. It has been weird for a while now. And people are making this thing like, you know what, IBF? Bro, nah. IBF ain't doing. They could have been made this fight a long time ago. When Canelo was setting up fights with Munguia and Berlanga last year, they could have made that fight happen. They didn't have to wait until just now. But it is what it is. But I don't like the looks of this. I don't like a guy like Scull on his level to be able to contact Canelo and be like, hey, you want this belt back? Canelo could have just went ahead and fought him as a mandatory. That was going to happen. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Because if he can contact you because he has a belt, why the other guys who had belts before can contact you in other divisions? So it can't be just about that. And I don't care about undisputed being two-time undisputed or anything like that, because Terrence Crawford, two-time undisputed, he gets treated like he's a bum and he ain't got no resume. So for me to turn around and listen to the same fans that disqualify guys who's already two-time undisputed, then they want me to respect someone who's one-time undisputed, and he's basically going to pick up a belt he just had vacated. He dropped, basically, because he didn't want to fight the mandatory. So Canelo's picking up a belt he just dropped, and he's going to be two-time. It's not a good look for boxing, man. I'm just telling y'all that right now. Undisputed is basically devalued from this day forward. It means nothing in my eyes. Ever since Devin Haney did it, Terrence Crawford did it, Benavidez could have done it if they wouldn't railroading him. So it don't mean that much to me. And I'm being honest. It's just my opinion. You know, they say everybody has an opinion. It's just my opinion.